For the first time since 2011, the Phillies are headed to the playoffs. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Hot Stove Media Cheering Clap. In last night's game 10 to 5 for Phillies and the Houston Astros as the Phillies defeat the Astros by a final score of 3-0 as the Philadelphia Phillies, ladies and gentlemen, have clinched a playoff spot. They're going to be playing their first game in the playoffs since October 7, 2011 when they faced the St. Louis Cardinals, and there's a good chance that they will face the St. Louis Cardinals once again. I guess before we get into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So after year after year after year, with us getting used to not seeing the Phillies in October, that will finally be changing this year. It doesn't even seem real. It doesn't even seem real. It is time to celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. The Phillies have made the playoffs. It doesn't even seem real, and honestly, I don't think it will really truly sink in until we see them in action on Friday night. I really just don't. So they have clinched a wild card spot, and some people are saying it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. I mean, we end the drought. I mean, it's been 11 years, 12 seasons. I just think having that off your plate. I mean, ending that long playoff drought. Of course, now the Angels and Tigers now hold the longest playoff drought in the game right now since 2014. They had not made it since 2014. So I'm glad that is finally off our shoulders. Of course, Bryce Harper making his first playoff appearance since 2017. Guys like Aaron Nola, Rhys Hoskins, this is our first time making it. Gene Segura as well. I mean, a 10-plus year veteran in the big leagues. This is his first time being in the postseason. So this is a very exciting time to be a Phillies fan. I'm just glad they made the playoffs. I'm very proud of this team. I mean, when we fired Joe Girardi in early June, around June 3rd, we were in the dumps, almost 10 games under 500. Things were looking pretty bleak. I mean, I think our chances to make the playoffs are probably around 30%. There really wasn't much hope. And we turned our season around in a big way. Rob Thompson went in there and he took the helm, and he really did a wonderful job at leading this team, and clearly he did something. I think he just brought a new energy, a new voice, and the guys started to have fun again. I understand, a lot of ups and downs throughout the course of this season. Even last week, I mean, getting swept out by the Chicago Cubs. A lot of frustrating days. But we made it. And yes, I mean, technically there is still something to play for these last two games of the season with the San Diego Padres. Of course, they did win last night, but I'm going to say it. Part of me doesn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. I would rather have the San Diego Padres finish above us because I do not want to play the New York Mets. I do not want to play the New York Mets. They really had our number all season long, and I just don't have a good feeling. I do not want to play the Mets. So I would much rather have the San Diego Padres finish above us because I just don't think it'd be a good ending if we face New York Mets. I'll just be brutally honest with you. And yes, I am scared of them. Yes, I am scared of them. And I'd much rather face the St. Louis Cardinals, which I understand, are a good team in the postseason. But anything can happen in the postseason. The Washington Nationals in 2019 won the World Series. How in the world did that happen? That was a very good team, but not a team that you think would win the World Series when the playoffs started. So that's one thing that gives me hope. Of course, the Atlanta Braves also another example of that last year, a team that you really didn't think would make much noise in the playoffs, and they ended up winning the World Series. So it seems to happen quite a bit. I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals in 2006, who had the worst record to win the World Series. So it happens quite often. So the Phillies have made the playoffs. This doesn't sound real because over the last 4 or 5 years, we've just been hearing the same words. Oh my gosh, the Phillies can make the playoffs this year. Oh my gosh, the Phillies are in the playoff push. This and that and the other thing. It's never happened. We either fall apart the final few weeks of the season, or we head into September with really not much hope anyway. Of course, the Milwaukee Brewers do win last night after the Arizona Diamondbacks were up 4-1. The Brewers came back and won 5-4, but it's irrelevant. Of course, no matter what they did last night, if we won, it was over. And that's what happened. And I like that. Honestly, I think I feel much better with us winning and them still winning for us to clinch. I mean, if they would have lost and we would have lost, it just wouldn't have felt as good. And I think everybody would agree with me on that. And somebody said on Twitter it would be weak. And that's a good way to put it. I do think that was kind of a weak approach. I'll be honest, I was rooting for the Diamondbacks. And of course, why would I not? But I do agree somewhat. I mean, I think it's kind of a weak stand. As we get the scoring summary here in the top of the first inning, Kyle Schwarber, first of two, as he homers on a fly ball to left center field. He absolutely destroyed that baseball. Another leadoff home run for Schwarber to start off the ball game, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. So 45 home runs at that time for Kyle Schwarber. So I love to see him go the other way. I mean, we haven't been able to see this. For a while, right? I mean, he's the last Philly to hit at least 45 home runs in the season since Ryan Howard in 2009. And of course, he would hit, later on one more last night. As we pick up here in the top of the 8th inning, Bryson Stott homers on a line drive to right field as he reaches double digits on the season, number 10. And the Phillies now lead it 2-0. So another solo shot for the Phillies. So Bryson Stott had a pretty good night last night. Of course, hitting that double to the opposite field, and then he hits this home run. Went through that dry spell there for about a month, and he wasn't really looking too good, but hopefully now he is starting to turn the corner. We pick it up here in the same inning. Kyle Schwarber does it again as he homers on a fly ball to right field. That ball was absolutely crushed. A towering shot for Schwarber. 46 home runs down the year. And it's now 3-0 Philadelphia. So it's so refreshing to see a guy, hit this many home runs. Of course, over the last few seasons, you got to see Bryce Harper hit 35 in his first year here in Philly. 2021 last year, I mean, Bryce Harper was able to hit 35. 2018, Rhys Hoskins hit 34. Haven't been able to see a guy hit this many home runs, almost 50, upper 40s, since the Ryan Howard era. It's really refreshing to see this. So Kyle Schwarber does it again. He's just really had this a monstrous season. Of course, all he does is hit homers, but that is okay. Of course, he is going to miss 100 RBIs in the season, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's what you expect when you put a guy in the leadoff spot. So I guess it's not really too surprising, but the guy's hitting under 220, and he has over 45 home runs. That is just absolutely insane. So that would be your final 3-0 Philadelphia shutout victory over the Houston Astros. And what did I say to everybody? Everybody's like, oh no, you're wrong. Dusty Baker, he's still going to leave his starters in the entire game. That did not happen, and I said it wasn't going to happen. And it didn't. Astros losing last night means nothing. They're still going to be making the playoffs. They're still going to have their home field advantage. It means nothing. If the Phillies win the next two games, it means nothing. Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot. 2 nights, of course, was the 2 solo home runs. He also was able to draw 2 walks. That was a great at-bat, his final at-bat of the ball game. He just kept battling and battling and battling. That was a very long at-bat, a very hard-fought at-bat by Kyle Schwarber. Of course, as I said, he does have a 219 average, 46 home runs, 94 RBIs to go on with an 830 OPS. He's certainly been hot, as we know. His home runs do come in bunches. Over his last 7 games, 375 average, 531 OBP, and 1,000 slugging percentage. So he literally has a 1,500 OPS his last 7 games. I mean, he's really been red hot, and it's great to see this guy heat up going into October. It is a great sign. It is a great sign. It just felt weird to be saying that because I'm so used to not saying that. At this time of year, I'm just so used to winding things down. Oh, well, thanks for another fun season. See it again next year. Hopefully we could, another failure. It just sounds so weird to not be saying stuff like that anymore. And Rhys Hoskins out of the two-hole, very disappointing performance as he goes 0 for 4. Stranded a lot of guys on base last night as well. I mean, striking out at a big opportunity. He was able to draw a walk last night. He also went down strikes twice. But it is what it is. I mean, he's still stuck around. He's been here, up in the big league since 2017. Of course, he was drafted in 2014. But he's paid his dues. He has paid his dues. So it's nice to see a guy like Rhys Hoskins, a good, humble human being, make the playoffs as well. And Bryce Harper hits a single to left field last night. That was his lone hit of the night. He went down strikes once as well. So this is his first playoff appearance since 2017 against the Chicago Cubs. Bryce Harper, during the course of his career, has never made it out of the first round of the playoffs. He was on a lot of great Nationals teams. I mean, that should have made it much farther than they did. Of course, the year after he leaves, they won the World Series. So that was kind of a bummer. But Bryce Harper finally now has a chance to be in the playoffs once again. I'm sure he's very excited about that. 5 years. JT Mitchell going 1 for 4 as he collected a single last night as well. His first playoff appearance in his career. So congratulations to JT. Another guy that deserves it, right? I mean, he did get caught stealing last night the first time of the season. So it took 21 tries to get him. Think about that, 21 tries to get him. And Alec Bohm also goes hitless last night. He went down strikes once as well. He's certainly been, really, cold with his bat. No question about that. The average now drops to 281. OPS now drops to 715. So he's been very disappointing over his last 15 games, batting 226 with a 269 OBP and a 355 slugging. Over his last 30 games, 238 average, 280 OBP, and a 361 slugging. So not much out of Alec Bohm recently. And Nick Castellanos also goes hitless last night as well. This is his last playoff appearance since 2020 in the shortened season when he was a member of the Cincinnati Reds. So, of course, they got swept out by the Atlanta Braves very quickly in just 2 days. That year. And Brandon Marshall caught the final out of the ball game on that fly ball at the center field. I mean, that was not an easy play. He really had to run in for that one. That was a great catch as he collected 2 knocks last night out in center. And he's really just been very good at the plate since joining the Phillies. I mean, really. I've really just been impressed with him as the average now climbs up to 246 and the OPS now climbs up to 678. This offensive production has really just gotten so much better since he joined the Phillies. A 314 average, 340 OBP, and a 510 slugging percentage over his last 30 games. And Gene Segura goes hitless last night. Strikeout and Bryson Stott, 3 knocks. Of course, one of them being the home run, also collecting a double. As he also draws a walk last night as well. 237 average now for Bryson, going with a 661 OPS, 49 RBIs now for him on the year. As I said, he did reach double-digit home runs, now 10 on the year. So the Phillies collect 9 hits on 3 runs, strike out 8 times, and collect 5 walks as a team. And Aaron Nola, 6 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts, a 3.25 ERA, as he gets to win now 11-13 on the year. He was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal. It's a shame. Of course, he was perfect. He had 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning, and then he allows a single to Yordan Alvarez to break up that perfect game. He went the longest time with a perfect game since Roy Halladay threw his perfect game in 2010 down in Florida. So that is he went the longest amount of innings with a perfect game since then. It's a shame he couldn't make it through that bottom of the 7th inning, but still one heck of a start. I mean, his stuff was untouchable. And let me be clear here for a second. A lot of the Astros starters, of course, were in the game, at the beginning. So it wasn't like he was facing, all the spring training type guys the whole entire game. The way he's pitched here in September / early October has truly been incredible, and it gives me a lot of hope going into the postseason. So he really did his job last night. I mean, very, very well. Congratulations, Aaron Nola. I mean, that was a big game, and he did his job because honestly, in starts past, he hasn't done his, job in a big game. So I give him a lot of credit. I mean, that off speed is absolutely untouchable. I love to see that, Aaron Nola. And Jose Alvarado, inning in the third, 3 strikeouts. It's making it look easy. I mean, it's just not even. I don't even know what to even say about this guy anymore. He's just been absolutely just dynamite. He's literally just been untouchable. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. I mean, that's just what I just kept saying last night when I was watching him pitch. I mean, you just can't touch this. A 3.180 ERA for Alvarado. He finally figured something out. He just finally figured out how to locate. Finally. And Zach Eflin pitching the final inning of the ball game there in the bottom of the 9th. 1, 2, 3. I mean, they were coming out hacking. It was the final lap out of the ball game. That was just absolutely driving me nuts. Foul ball after foul ball. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just such a theme of how long it took us to make the playoffs. I mean, just, hard fought postseason clinch. So at the end of the day, we came out with the win. 3-0. Of course, the Milwaukee Brewers eliminated as the Phillies will be making the playoffs. First time since 2011. Of course, 4,000 plus days have passed since they've last been in the playoffs. That is just absolutely insane. So Ranger Suarez 10-6 with a 3.370 ERA going against Justin Verlander 17-4. They 1.80 ERA. So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Playoffs. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video. Comment on this video. Share this video. Check out the social media. Link in the description section at Phillies Hats Media, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Piazza Media. Card text 267-225-392. Email me. PhilliesHatsMedia@gmail.com. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Luke and I'll talk to you later. Let's go, Phils. See you guys.